Good evening and welcome to episode 112. As always, we will start with our gratitude attitude. So, if you would please gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, see all your stress melt away. Take one more deep breath. This time, completely let yourself loose. Now, think of one thing that you're thankful for that happened in the past week. Once you identified that, think about why you're thankful. And now let's set it free. If you're by yourself, say it out loud what you're thankful for and why. If you're with someone, tell it to each other. Okay. So I attended a wedding over the long weekend. It was a joyous occasion, full of love. That got me thinking, how can we keep all of our relationship joyous and full of love, like it was the first day of a union? If we think about any relationship, it seems that if you remove whatever disharmony there may be, once you remove that, the relationship becomes smooth. You can feel the love again in that relationship. So today, I want to talk about how to uproot disharmony in our relationships. In one of the books, I read a verse that goes something like, when I associate with others, I will consider myself lower and hold everyone supreme. Now, just to be clear, when we talk about holding ourselves lower, we are not talking about being like a doormat. What we are talking about is not putting ourselves as a center of attention. We usually are me-centric, if you will. Our needs, wants, and happiness must come ahead of everyone else's. I love you as long as it does not disturb my comfort, is our typical attitude. And we are now shifting that attitude so that we get over our egocentric self-importance or self-cherishing. Because our self-cherishing is where all our delusions come from. All our anger, our attachment, fear, jealousy, anxiety, selfishness, all our negative actions. They're full of suffering, actually. So this self-cherishing is the source of our disharmony. That's the reason we're cycling around, right? Because of this ego mind grasping at a self or me that doesn't exist. So Geshe Kelsang Gyatso says that our self-cherishing, our obsessive self-concern is like a mountain in front of the valley of cherishing others or loving others. What does he mean by that? So if you've ever been to Whale Valley from Denver, if you drove there, you know what he's talking about, right? There's this beautiful valley that you cannot see until you cross the mountain in front of it. Just like that, we cannot see this vast valley of cherishing others because of this mountain of self-cherishing. Everywhere we look, our mind is polluted by this self-concern. It alters everything that we see. We cannot know what's going on because we are so obsessed with ourselves. And that's reflected in our minds. So why? Why is it that we regard ourselves as so precious, but not others? Because we are just one person. Others are countless. Why are we so obsessed with this me? One major reason is that we are so familiar with thinking about ourselves. It's a familiarity, it's a habit. We've been doing this since beginningless time. In every life, we have grasped a truly existing I that is the root of all these problems. So truly existing I, if it was real, it should exist from its own side. But basically, we have this self-grasping, right, which grasps at ourselves, which we think exists from its own side. We think there is this real me, the real I, and we think everyone else is not me. They're either other, or they're him or her, whatever, but they're not me. And I've done this experiment in the past during a live audience, and I'll just summarize that here. I'll ask someone, I say, who is me for you? And they'll hesitate a little, but they'll say, well, that's me, right? This person. And then there are 12 people in the audience, and all 12 of them say that's their me. And I say, I'm me, right? So there are 13 people in one room who all think there are 13 different me's. Now, if the me or I was inherently existent, it would be the same for everybody, right? But it's not. So it's only our ignorance that thinks I'm really me and everyone else is other. Because I have this sense of real me, I then think that this me is more important than all other me's. So I am more important than you, just as simple as that. And so we regard ourselves or our I so very precious and important, we exaggerate our own good qualities and develop an inflated view of ourselves. We spend so much time contemplating our real or imagined good qualities that we become oblivious to our own faults. It's often so painful to admit that we have faults that we make all types of excuses rather than alter our results and view ourselves that, hey, you know what? Maybe we have some faults. Give you an example. Let's say we have a difficult relationship with someone. We naturally conclude that it's entirely their fault. They should really change. And then we'll be so happy because it's hard to change everyone. Think about it. It's impossible to change anyone other than ourselves. So we're definitely not going to change everybody. So we naturally conclude it's their fault. We are unable to accept that maybe it's partly our fault that when we have difficult relationships. So instead of taking responsibility of our actions and making an effort to change our views or our behaviors, we argue with them and insist that they must change their views and behaviors. So the fact that we are oblivious to our faults does not prevent other people from noticing them. Did you notice that? They'll point it out for you. But when they do, we feel that they are being unfair, so unfair. And that is self-cherishing by definition. And that arises from self-grasping ignorance, an inherently existing self. This is the source of all our disharmony. If we learn to remove that, our relationship becomes easier. Life becomes frictionless. It just flows. And that's how life should be, just flowing. So that's the talk of the day. Today, in this spirit of relationship and love, we're going to try loving kindness meditation. So as always, we'll first try to settle down at our hearts. And then we'll begin our loving kindness meditation. And all it is intentional wish for someone else to be happy. So first we'll, think of ourselves and say, may I be happy, may I be loved, may I be free from misery, may I be joyful. And then we'll think of one person who's closest to us and contemplate the same thing. May you be happy, may you be loved, may you be free from misery, may you be joyous. And then we'll think of someone who is not as close to us and say, may they be happy, may they be loved, may they be free from misery, may they be joyful. And lastly, we'll think about all living beings and contemplate, may we be happy, may we be loved, may we be free from misery, may we be joyful. So that's the plan. And I'll walk you through the whole thing. So if you're ready, please get into your meditation posture, cross-legged position. If you are in a chair, just make sure your feet touch the ground. Keep your back straight, spine upright. shoulders leveled, gently close your eyes. Keep your mouth just a little bit open. So, any stress you may have in your jaws will dissipate. Palms in your lap, right over left, thumbs gently touching each other. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, see all your muscles relaxing. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, see your body completely loose, like a rag doll. Bring your attention to the sensation of your breath at your nostrils. Feel the cool air as you breathe in. Feel slightly warmer air as you breathe out. Keep your attention at your nostrils for about a minute or so on your own. Bring your attention at your heart. Experience the peaceful nature of your root mind at your heart. Let this peaceful moment bring the next peaceful moment. Remember, there's nothing to do. There is nowhere to go. Just enjoy. Now, imagine yourself in your mind. Just bring your own image and contemplate. May I be happy. May I be loved. May I be free from misery. May I be joyful. Now, think of one person who is closest to you, who you love dearly. Contemplate. May you be happy. May you be loved. May you be free from misery. May you be joyful. Now, think about one person who you don't particularly care for. Contemplate. May they be happy. May they be loved. May they be free from misery. May they be joyful. Now, think of all living beings. Contemplate. May we be happy. May we be loved. May we be free from misery. May we be joyful. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Any questions? Go ahead, Uncle. You're mute. Go ahead, Aditi.
First of all, beautiful session from start to finish. Thank you very much. My question is, we do accept others' flaws, knowing that we all have flaws as well. We do like reflect and contemplate that, we have to, I guess we don't have to have any expectation in relationship. So our relationship is stronger and better and more loving. But time to time, when things come like that, no matter how much we reflect on these thoughts and we remind ourselves, but something is done by others or that really, really hurts you, and then you react and you forget everything. So that's the one challenge, how to overcome.
That's the one thing we have to work on, right? That's the one thing. And I think the only way that happens is if we keep practicing this. Okay.
Mhm,
Because we are human and we wired, for such a long time in certain way, right?
mhm,
To, you know, dewire that whole situation takes time.
mhm,
So sometimes, if we flip, for lack of a better word, that's
mhm,
okay. We have to forgive ourselves. Like, you know what, I flipped. I'll try to do better next time, right? Because we are going to flip, but more meditative we become, more we practice this in our daily lives, right? Better our reflexes will be, in a sense that hopefully we'll know before we flip that,
real.
hey, we'll catch ourselves.
Mhm,
Okay. Uh, we do this in two ways. One, what you said, which is usually a relationship, positive relationship we already have, right? And then
mhm,
sometimes just something happens and we flip. But then we also do this where we don't have a relationship. And to me, that's a tougher part, because when you don't have a relationship, right, it's easy to not regard or not prioritize their concerns over ours.
mhm,
That's when self-cherishing comes at the worst, in a sense that when you're talking, let's say with our kids, right, there's already
mhm,
love there. Okay, so when we flip, it's a temporary flip, if you will. We should, but
mhm,
it happens, right? But there's a love behind that. But if there's some stranger, right, where we have no love towards them, one way or the other, right? We don't hate them, but we don't, love them. That's where this thing gets tricky, because that's where we tend to put ourselves above everybody else.
mhm.
So
True.
that's where I think we need to be more concerned about. And one thing I think uh, I'm trying out this new thing. Okay, I'll say it out loud, and if you like it, try it. Right?
Mhm,
Um, you know, they say that, I think we talked about that. If we develop affectionate love for all living beings, right, life becomes easier.
mhm,
And I don't know how to do that, quite frankly. Right?
mhm,
For everybody you see, that's just challenging. So I started this thing where I say, okay, anyone I see, I put my hand on my heart and smile. Whether I know them, I don't know them, that's it, right? Just a smile on my face and see what happens. And I was talking to this guy while I was in retreat. He's actually from here, and I was giving him a ride every day. So we had nothing better to talk in the car. So we were just chatting about meditation. And I said, you know, Jared, this is what I'm trying to do. And he said something interesting. He says, that's reverse engineering. He says, when you have affectionate love for someone, smile will automatically come in your face. So he says, what you're trying to do is hopefully will reverse engineer that love from smile back towards love. I don't know if it works or not, but I'm trying out. Try that.
Actually, it's right. I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing this, and it's interesting. I think I should try this.
Try it out, right? See what happens.
Yeah.
Can't
Yeah.
hurt. It's a smile on your face.
Yeah, no harm, right?
No harm, right? So,
Thank you.
Premal, would you like to add to that?
No, I was going to say, I say that all the time to Ashwi. Just smile to random people. Who knows what they've been through, right? Who
That's
knows
right.
who needs that smile that day? So, like you said, it can't hurt,
Can't hurt.
and it makes you look beautiful
Yeah.
if you want a little selfish thing in it. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, hopefully it'll work, my friend.
yeah, yeah.
Any questions you have?
No, yeah.
Okay.
It's beautiful. You know, the thing about putting yourself not higher, I'll take the wedding example again. Right? Is a observation in the wedding hall. Everybody wants to be that most important friend or a family member uh, to the family, right? So a bride or groom's family,
Yeah.
and I've seen that causing tension, right? Not in this, generally speaking, in our weddings and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
simple thing like this would calm things down. So just extrapolating, it should work in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Makes the world a little bit better, hopefully.
Yeah.
Uncle, anything you would like to add?
Little bit what I feel that giving importance to ourselves has been taught to us from the day one we are born,
That's right.
either by our parents or by our siblings
Society
or
in general.
society
Yeah.
in general. But when we grew up in the school, you are the smartest kid. You should get
Yeah.
like first rank
That's right.
in the in the sports. You cannot be number two.
That's right.
And that cultivate that feeling inherently, unknowingly, that I am the important person and I'm the best among everybody else.
Mhm.
Whether it's true or not, basically, but that's how even like
Absolutely.
to the boy you will say you are the most handsome, cleverest boy, smartest boy. Whether it's a right or wrong, but it's
No, I
boosting
agree.
boosting
Yeah.
his ego.
Yeah. I think we have to do that. We've been taught that because to stay ahead. Like, that's why I think I always feel Three Idiots, the movie made the mark, right?
Yep.
Life is a race. That's
That's right.
basically what happens, right?
Yeah.
And I
Make
think
yourself important so you're ahead in the race. That's all it is.
I agree. And the reason for that is to some extent, it's the surrounding or society is highly competitive.
Mhm.
So you always try to push your kids or yourself even ahead of other people and trying to prove that you are important, you have more knowledge, whether you have or not,
That's right.
and try to put your image as a best person in the company or best person in the family or most knowledgeable. And I think that inherent characteristics or surrounding that person is seen for years together. Wherever he goes, he try to boast his ego that I'm the best around everybody.
Yep.
You don't know anything.
Yep.
And I think that is the one reason that we as a society, that's how we see the
And one thing, Uncle, I'm lately I'm working a lot. I'm doing a lot of research on that
Yeah.
exact topic. And one thing I haven't completely put, but I feel like that is more prominent in our culture.
Yeah.
Okay. And my theory, and it's a working theory, I haven't again found a lot of proof to this, but my theory is that maybe that has a lot to do with uh, you know 200 years of British Raj,
Yeah.
right? Where
And also, I think it is also because of in our culture or the way we brought up, the resources
scarce.
are scarce, and you have
I,
to fight and stay up to get,
I
and
think
and our wants are more than our needs. So that's what happens.
Yeah. If you don't study, you'll work, as a beggar, right, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that is true, but then to some extent, like I don't know whether you go back to the Indian roots or you compare the people in our country, USA.
Mm.
And one of the reasons that as an immigrant, at least I will say first generation immigrant,
Yeah, you were scarce.
our goal was to establish and to compete with the other people by hook or crook, and that's how not all but many people have been successful,
Yeah.
either in business or in job or wherever you think of. The motive behind that was the survival.
Yeah.
That if I don't excel in my job or I don't excel in my business, I'm nothing here, and I have come here to be a successful man.
Mhm.
I can't go back and say that I failed.
Yeah.
So that is the motive behind struggle.
Yeah.
Like you start a business, you struggle, or I start a new job and I struggle in the job and try to work extra or try to prove that I know more or whatever it is. Basically, the
But
motive
prove
behind,
your worth, if nothing else.
prove the worth and be successful so that you can establish your family in a little better way, because with that goal you have come to this country. And that could be true for many immigrants, not only Indian, but many immigrants who have come from the poor country or not with enough resources in the country. It could be true for all those people. I think we think of we like Indian are doing this as a cocoon, but like you see Chinese or you see Korean or Vietnamese people, they have little disadvantage of language, but then they struggle and they shine out.
Yeah.
And the only reason, because they know that if they don't struggle, they are failure.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. And I think we need to break that cycle, right?
That cycle is getting broken by the second generation, because now
Yeah.
they are not worried about establishment like what we were worried about establishing ourselves in this country at
Yeah.
the age of 30, 35. They are born and brought up here, so whatever they do, they take it as a natural. If I fail, I fail. I start a business. If I don't work, I don't work.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
It happens with anybody, and it happened with me.
Yeah. And that's a good thing, I think. And as long as we as parents don't keep pushing in the other
Yes.
direction, I think it's a good thing.
And the main reason for pushing our kids in certain direction is that probably whatever we have not achieved in our life, we try to get through our kids.
Yeah, right. Don't live your life through your kids. Don't live your dreams through your kids. Yeah.
Like I couldn't become engineer, so you have to become engineer.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
You can't be working on the gas station, and there is nothing wrong that you have a vision.
Yeah.
And I want you to be a successful and having a better life. But now the better life is defined in a different way, not in a
Exactly. Money is
in
not
a
the better life.
happiness.
That's the key.
But the
Key thing, I think.
money is measured in money.
Yep.
It measured in money or all physical aspects physically. So it's a cycle, and that's how the society measures you, me, and everybody.
Yep. You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm with you 100%.
And I have another
Please.
question. I'm like, yeah, I know we are running over the
No, that's okay.
time, but So basically, like exactly Mukesh uncle said, this is the reality. It's like whether it's like survival of the fittest or whatever. But even like today at my work, I have to prove myself. I have to prove that because I recently switched to a different organization inside the company. It's like, so that maintaining that balance, that unlearning our cultural or so thing, and just being mindful constantly that okay, you know what, just simply love others and just be empathize with them, but at the same time you want to maintain that uh, where people just don't think of you as like any less. It's like maybe you are like less efficient or something, if they make you feel like that or treat you like that. So
No,
like,
I get what you're saying, Aditi. Two things I'll mention, okay?
okay.
One thing, I think one key phrase you mentioned is unlearning, right?
Uh-huh.
We develop this bad habit,
Right.
right, of proving ourselves to someone else.
Right.
And we have to unlearn that because, quite frankly, I know it's going to hurt your ego, but nobody cares, okay? Nobody cares. I mean, we think that people judge us, but people have busy lives. Okay, they got better things to do in their life, and if they don't, then too bad for them, right? Don't give free space, rent-free space to them in your head. You see what I'm trying to say?
I mean,
Don't think about them
uh-huh.
because they're not, and if they are, they're not happy, right? But don't lose your happiness by thinking about what they will think of you, because that's the most, because that's a no-win situation. I'm telling you.
In Sadhguru's words, that's ultimate form of slavery.
I 100% agree with you, Mira.
Yeah.
And one of the reason I've seen, at least in our culture or many Asian countries also, whether you know or not, you are afraid to say that I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Even in the school, even in the family, or even in your professional life, you are always afraid to tell your boss or colleague that I don't know and I need to learn this or find out this, how it is happening, or I'm not aware of these things basically.
I don't know is the most liberating phrase you'll ever say from your mouth.
Yeah. And the moment you say, I don't know, probably many people say, okay, fine, find out, no problem.
They'll give you slack.
But most of the people say, hey, you are educated, experienced, and how come you don't know all these things? And that puts you down in front of others, not by yourself, but by others. And probably that is the most thing that will hurt your ego, knowingly or unknowingly.
Yeah.
Yep. True.
So, but ego is the root of all problems. So
It's there. I'm telling you, it's always there. And the moment you say that I don't know, let me find out, or you teach me, it happens. It has nothing to do with education or experience or anything.
Yeah.
There are things that I don't know, and I say, I don't know, you tell me.
Yeah.
I don't know about this client. I know technical things, but I don't know about that client or his preference.
Even technical things are not, world's moving too fast. I gotta go learn. That's okay too.
It's okay, yeah. So, but that's an inherent, probably a conditioning that we have in our mind, that we cannot say that I don't know, or I'm not capable of doing this.
Yeah.
And that is where most of the people get hurt or get injured.
Yeah.
They don't know their physical or mental capabilities, and they say, no, I can do everything, and they fail and they fall down, or whatever you call it, basically.
Yeah, they say that in corporate
Yeah.
America, they keep promoting you until you're incompetent in the final job, right? And that's the worst thing to be. But if you
Yeah.
say, I don't know, you won't be in that situation.
No.
So, all right, great discussion, everyone. I'm going to stop recording.
Mhm.